I'm here with Sarah, one of the brand owners, kind of lead brand architect of Wet Swimwear. She's been working with us for a while, and just want to get to learn a little bit more about her experience with the brand and with Ember Tribe. So if you could, Sarah, just tell us a little bit about Wet and just the brand itself and kind of what you've been doing with it.
Yeah, sure. So Wet Swimwear has been around for about 10 years. We've been manufacturing surf and swimwear for many years now. So when I joined, it was about like 3.5 years ago, and Wet was starting off to be like kind of like a junior contemporary brand, but we couldn't figure it out. So I rebranded last year to make it more contemporary, filled it with more prints, with unique styles, kind of like straight from beach to city life kind of styles that we think would work well with both of our markets. Our market is here in the US and also in Taiwan, where we have a flagship store.
That's great. That's great. And tell me a little bit about that rebrand process. So kind of what did you go through to achieve that? So like what were your steps? Like what was going through your mind from like what you had before to like what you were trying to kind of guide towards and achieve?
Yes, so I had very specific website that I had in mind, and I knew that with the skin we had previously, it just wasn't user friendly, and like I knew I had to change all the assets and make it look more like relatable, because before we didn't have like assets with their faces, they were cropped off, so we wanted to make it more relatable. So I knew I had to completely redo the website, and then I knew that I needed to get more people onto the website, more traffic, and we weren't getting any of that. So in my decision to rebrand, I knew that I need to first the first steps were to get the website ready, get the social ready, the organic socials, and then find a partner who can help us in our digital marketing sales. We had originally only used PR companies. They would just be seeding out product, and we would get placements in ad editorials, things like that. But nothing really worked. So I wanted to try something different, something drastic. And Ember Tribe was recommended by a fellow colleague, and it's been working out really good so far.
That's awesome. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that experience with choosing an agency? So you mentioned it was a referral, so there was a little bit of a warm lead there. But even before that was mentioned to you, like what was going through your mind around like what type of agency you wanted to work with, or like what were the decision paths that you were kind of making for that?
Honestly, I had zero expectations, but what I really wanted to be was hands off. I felt like a lot of the partners I was working with previously, like whether they're like social planners or other marketers, I was very heavily involved. And luckily with Ember, I was able to kind of like let go of the reins a little bit and just like green light, approve certain things, and it works really well. But really like the whole like ad buying marketing strategy wasn't really like in our horizon, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it's very new to us for both our brands, Wet and Vast. So this was a nice little, wake up call to see like what other marketing strategies there are out there.
Sure. That's great. Do you think you could share maybe one or two sort of wins that you've seen, whether that's like with the creative or with sales or like just in general, like with customers this past couple months around like kind of what we've been doing together?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't like much for me to compare to. We didn't have any sales come through. It was just a matter of getting the customers to the site. But I think that allowing Ember the opportunity to take a look at our entire library of assets, you guys were able to pick and choose what you think would work well. And then, I would have my comments too, and then we would just work together to find like the perfect asset to post out there. And I think that's really important because, I mean, only I know my brand and you guys are still learning. So it's a good collaboration to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Is there any advice you would give somebody, not specifically around Ember Tribe or anything like that, but if they're going out and looking and trying to make this decision around like, should we do this in-house? Should we even do digital marketing? Like what sort of advice, or what would you say to those types of business owners?
I would say leave it to the experts because when you're trying to run a brand or a company, you just need to focus on what's important and
Yeah.
let the experts figure it out for you, because there is a lot of like trial and error. There's a lot of testing that I've like seen, and like if you were to do it in-house, you would have to have someone who had experience doing this, or else you'd be wasting a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of resources. So yes, definitely just go to the experts. They do it all day long, so they know what's out there and how to, pick and choose the different audiences. So
Yeah, if there's one thing I've sort of noticed, I think, with clients, is that like it's definitely about prioritization. As sort of a brand owner, yes, like you could spend the time to learn it, or maybe you know how to do it, but is that sort of your most valuable use of your time at that moment as sort of a brand owner? Where's the leverage?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to give it to you guys.
Yeah. That's great. Anything else, any other wins or anything else about kind of your experience that you've seen with us around like communication or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, since day one, you guys have been very quick to reply, and you guys have been very thorough with your answers, and I have a lot of questions. So you guys were able to answer all of them, and like with complete like patience, and you guys treated me like a noob, which I told you like straight off that I was, and you guys are very patient with all of my questions. The communication was like every day. I never felt like you guys disappeared. I never felt like you guys weren't on top of your game. So it's nice to be able to rely on you guys to get things done, even when I'm like, I don't have to follow up. I don't have to push you guys. I don't have to, like with my other vendors, working in production, you always have to ask for an update. Like I never have to ask for an update. So that's a relief in itself. So I can rely on you guys to get the job done, and I don't have to pursue it.
Yeah, that's great.